Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our launch of Premium. So for most of you, I'm sure that you have heard of Imprimo so far. You may or may not be an Imprimo subscriber just yet. If you haven't seen it, check it out, Imprimo at imprimo.ca. And we'll go through a few things today. We'll be focusing mainly on the new premium features. So if you haven't seen Imprimo just yet, we have some videos on YouTube. You can take a look on our website or simply send us a message at info@imprimo.ca. We'd love to chat. We'd love to tell you about the platform that we've built. We're quite excited for this. I'll take you guys through a little bit of a view of who we are, what we built, and where we're going. I think it's important to keep reminding this because we're evolving very fast, and then we'll spend the rest of the evening talking about Premium. So a little bit again about who we are. Imprimo was built out of Prescient, which is an innovation lab out of Access Copyright. Access Copyright is a rights management organization for artists, authors, and publishers, and we have relationships with other organizations that represents visual artists such as RAV and Carfac here in Canada, and copyright visual art, as well as Capic in the photography space, and all over the world. We have similar relationship, ADAGP, DAX, as well as Artist Rights Society and other organizations worldwide. And at our core, our goal is to make sure that artists are properly compensated for their work, they're properly attributed for their work, and we wanted to build a platform that for once had the creator at the center, that really kind of make sure that creators were going to be taken care of, and we're able to use exponential technology to benefit and to improve their career and their career management. So if a little bit about Access Copyright, I've been around for 30 years. They have distributed almost $500 million of royalties to creator. We built Prescient Innovation back in 2018 to build product like Imprimo. Imprimo is one of many that will come out of Prescient. And we're quite excited for what we've launched so far. So we'll take you a little bit on our journey that we got coming up. So Imprimo has 3 big phases of development. What we show today is us wrapping up phase 1. Phase 1 was simply building the artist profile, building tools that would help the artist manage the online presence, increase their discoverability, and manage their artwork more effectively. And we'll go through this today. What's coming up in the next year is we'll see the marketplace integration come in over the next few months, where you'll be able to sell your work through Imprimo. Even though we're not participating in the sale, you'll be able to redirect opportunities for online sales, and eventually we'll see the galleries and the museum and so on come on board as well as other art organizations throughout 2023. And towards the tail end of 2023 and going to 2024, we'll have the art lover come on our platform, and we'll have a full scope where the entire art ecosystem will engage, from artists to art lovers, galleries, and marketplace. And then you'll see a variety of interactions coming out. For example, follow the artist, like the artist, peer-to-peer recommendations, and many more. So very exciting. We're really excited to bring this to you guys. And once again, what you'll see today is an effort of everybody that's been involved, whether it's the artist, whether it's our team or our partners like Carfac, RAV, Copyright Visual Art, Capic, and so on. It's a collective effort that really brings this amazing platform that we have. Very excited to share all the progress with you guys. So looking into phase 1. So this is where we're at today. This is what we're closing. Phase 1 was very simple. We wanted to improve the online discoverability of artists. What do I mean by that is many artists today have their own website, which is very difficult to drive traffic. It's very difficult to build an online presence that's engaging. Most people love or grew to making art. They're not necessarily digital marketers. So we really wanted to create something that empowers artists to display their work and their portfolio in a way that was very engaging. We also wanted to build a tool to reduce the administration that comes with managing an artist's career, making it very easy to monitor, to manage the portfolio management, the marketing, the presentation, and so on, and be able to give more time to the artist so they can make art. And then finally, one of the things that are very important to us is to make sure that the information that's shared is reliable. If you didn't know that already, all the artists on Imprimo are verified, which means there's no bad actor, there's no bots, there's nobody out there who are making false claim, and the integrity of our data and the integrity of the information on Imprimo is very strong because of that. So with that, we'll go into Premium. Premium, when we launched Premium, we had a few goals that we wanted. First of all, we've heard from many artists that managing their marketing effort was really hard. So even though we built a lot of things already on Imprimo, we wanted to make things that it was a lot easier for artists to present themselves in a very engaging way and to present their collections or to present their work in a way that really attracted buyers and attracted their art lovers. So, we also heard from artists that replacing their website was one of the main reasons that they were interested in Imprimo, even though that might not be why we launched it originally. We really quickly saw that many artists were abandoning their website for their Imprimo profile. It was faster, it was cheaper, and it was much, much better at presenting themselves in an effective way than what they had previously. Even though many artists have amazing website, there's just as many artists who are finding it quite challenging to build that. So we've learned that along the process, and we've done some things we'll show you today that makes it more attractive for you to replace your website with your Imprimo profile. We looked into making sure we can organize a portfolio as collections. Many people had series or different collections, and we heard when I'm talking to galleries, when I'm talking to granting bodies, or simply when I want to present my work on Imprimo, I like the idea of being able to group together certain artwork to really kind of help the presentation. So we heard that and we made something. We're really excited to show you, and hopefully it does what you guys asked for. And then we also have custom CVs coming out, which will help you share your story under a unique lens and be able to, depending on the scenario, to be able to use different CV to tell your story in a little bit of a different way. So we'll share some of that with you today. And then simply said, also, we wanted to make the process of applying for grants, applying for gallery exhibition or so on, so much smoother and simpler for artists. So 3 big features that are coming out of Premium, and as we go, you'll see more and more features. But the first one was custom URL. We heard from everybody. If I'm going to be replacing my website, I need to have something that's a bit more custom. So we went at it and we made these changes. So with Premium, you're able to change. In this case, we see Samantha.imprimo.ca. She may choose to say Samantha and put her entire name or whatever she would like to, but what the idea was is that you were able to change to use your Imprimo profile using your name at the front, so that it would be a lot more attractive when you're using on a business card, on a marketing material, on your Instagram profile, or simply when you're sharing it with your friends and family or your different audience. You'd be able to share your name at the front, and when they land there, they land on your Imprimo profile, which was designed to give a snippet of your career with your bio, your cover image, which we encourage you to have an image of you working to your studio, all your social links centralized, and really the first snippet that really helps your audience to see who you are as an artist and a little bit more about yourself. And then the next thing that we've done is the custom CVs. We've heard from artists. I know we had talked to David Farsi today, one of the event. He says he's been making art for 45 years, and he has, pretty hundreds, if not thousands, of events to put on his CV, which is, not necessarily the format that you're going to send if you want to apply for a specific event or a specific grant or a specific gallery exhibit or so on. So we understood that. We want to create something that was more flexible, that allows artists to have their master CV on Imprimo, but then to be able to also hold a series of other CVs, or it's 2-page that you need, 3-page, 5-page, 6-page, 10-page, and so on, to have a series of different options, so that if you need to apply for a grant, if you need to submit an application of any shape or form, that very quickly you can simply take the CV that you already have saved as a template on your profile, and then download it into a editable format to provide even more customizability. So we'll show you some of that tonight. And then finally, collection management. A lot of things that we wanted to do here. I think we're quite excited about what we've done, but very excited to hear your feedback. If you guys have any suggestions and like to see things differently, please don't hesitate to write us, info@imprimo.ca. But some of the goals that we had with the collection management was really to be able to show both the artwork that are sold and that are for sale, regardless of the sales status, to be able to position that. Many of the marketplaces that are out there, when the work is sold, it's gone. And we've seen some of those things as well on an artist website. So really trying to allow you to have all your work listed there and grouped regardless of the sales status. Able to share collections privately. So you may want to organize your work under a certain type of team so that it's more palatable for art lovers, but you may choose to group them in a different way for certain application, whether you want to share with a gallery or in any interested party. You're able to create subsection or other type of collections that can be shared privately, that is not visible to the rest of the audience, but through a unique link they're able to access that. Also want to help create interest in the buyer who's interested in a specific team. So we heard that maybe you may want to pair it by colors to really help someone who may want to be fitting a certain color inside their home. That's just an idea. Some people may choose to have different type of team, with the sculptures all together, the painting all together, or many different avenues that you can go. So with the collections, you're able to do that and present your work as you see fit. The series was a big one. We heard a lot of people saying, we'd like to really be able to illustrate our series more and more streamlined on the website. So you could do that with the collection. We'll go over it today. And then finally, group your work by date. Many artists have been making work for a long time. And it's quite great to be able to follow the career of the artist over the years by seeing their work evolve, and then being able to group it by date certainly does that. Then a couple things that I want to kind of remind before I pass it on to Steven, which will show you guys exactly how all this works. The objective at Imprimo is to, we call it democratizing the art market. Simply said, we're trying to create equal opportunity for all. We understand that galleries brings a ton of values to artists, but it's not really accessible to everybody. So we want to provide a platform that allows you to present your work very professionally in an engaging way, to allow you to explore new audiences and create new type of opportunity for your work that may not be available in the current physical market that you may have. We don't necessarily think that it replaced what the galleries are doing. They certainly have their own avenue that brings a ton of value, and many artists are continue to explore that. But we wanted to find ways to supplement these opportunities, either for artists who may want to represent themselves, or are partially represented by a gallery or represented by a gallery, but want to still be able to build an online following. So that was a big part of what we were doing at Imprimo, while doing all this while maintaining as much trust as possible in the information that is being shared, knowing that the artist is verified. Over time, you'll see third party attesting to the claims that are made, which will significantly elevate the trust and the information that you're being provided with, whether it's for you or whether it's for the art buyer. Elevating the trust and the information makes a significant difference in the value that's provided to all. And then finally, the biggest aspect of Imprimo that brings value, and I'll give you guys some example here, is the idea of having a centralized network. By having all the art ecosystem coming on one platform to communicate, to engage, to share their portfolio, to share their work. One of the big value is the cross discovery, the social discovery. When John Smith lands on me as an artist, and then he sees Steven, who's also there, that he seems to like his work, and he discovers Steven. If me and Steven had a website, and he went to my website, by no shape or form would he have ever landed on Steven's, right? So being able to cross-discover other artists is a big one, and be able to, discover new type of art that you may have never seen before. That was the idea on the homepage, but really do focus on that social discovery. And here's some example of what we already heard happening. We heard from artists who got some inquiries on Imprimo, and when they contacted the buyer, the interested party, and said, "How do you hear about me?" They said, "I was on Imprimo, and then I was looking at this person that is as an artist. I came across your work. I thought it was interesting." And then they made some inquiries. So that's a lot of what we were building. And over time, these interactions are going to become stronger, and they're going to facilitate even more social connections. But we're already seeing it today. Some artists are having some opportunities by the social discovery that's being happening today on Imprimo. We have 850 artists on the platform, and it's growing. We're now in Canada and in France and the US and in the UK. And as we grow our network of artists and of art lovers and galleries, the more people are on the network, the more value there is. And simply said, if we had 1,000 artists, each artist had 1,000 followers. All of a sudden, there's 1 million people on the Imprimo platform that is benefiting the entire art ecosystem, right? So it's everybody's best interest to contribute to sending their audience over to Imprimo. It is benefiting everybody evenly. That was a big aspect of how we built Imprimo, to really help the entire art ecosystem connect together and not be so fragmented. So once again, before I pass it on to my colleague, Stephen, if you have any questions, info@imprimo.ca. We're always here to help you, whether jump on a call or send you, or happy to answer any questions over email or so on. Don't be shy. We're here to help. And with that, I will introduce Stephen. So before I pass it on to Stephen, I want to say a few things. A lot of you have met Stephen already. But for those of you that may not have met Stephen already, Stephen is the lead design. So everything you see in Imprimo is him. He's the reason that this site is so easy to follow and so beautiful. And I'd say we're quite thankful to have it on our team. It's very easy for me on a continuous basis to hear from people how easy the website is to use. And so a lot of these things are because of Stephen. So very thankful to have him here. And I will pass it on to him to continue the presentation.
Yeah, thanks, JD. Yeah, so like JD was saying, I'm Stephen. I work with JD and Aiden, and also with the developers to help build out what you're about to see right now. So I am sharing my screen, and hopefully everybody can see that. Just going to get a bit organized here. So let's start off with the landing page and what's different, sort of starting from here. And I'll go through the different functionalities and different things that have changed with this release, which is really our most major release since we launched about 10 months ago. So first thing you might see is here on our top navigation bar is we have our artworks and artists, but we also have collections. So all the collections that anybody who puts together in their premium plan and publishes on Imprimo will be seen in this collection section here. And I'll go through this. Also, another thing that we've changed is on the Tell Me More page. We've changed this and updated it to, first of all, something that's much more attractive, but also talks about Imprimo and the value propositions that we have in a more articulate and sort of current fashion. So you can take a look at that. We also have our updated pricing of our basic and premium plan on here. Just going back to the collections. So I've published my test account here on Imprimo, at least for these seminars that we're running to demo it. And I put out a public collection, and I'll just show you what it looks like. So first of all, when you come into the collection section, you have what's called a card, like this block here, showing the different artworks that you have in your collection. So the top 4. So whatever you have listed as your top artwork, this shows as the main one. And then you would have subsequent artworks that shows in these images on the side. So these are just test images that you're seeing right now, but just imagine that these are your own artworks that are populated here. When I click into the card, this is the page as it looks like for one of your collections. So you'd have the artist name at the top, you'd have the title of the collection as you've defined it, and then you write in a description about the collection, whatever you want. So when it comes to collections, I should take a moment here that this is a very broad application where you can organize and present your work however you want. So you can create these collections based on different series that you've done, and you want to organize and present your work this way. It could be, maybe you want to have newer artworks and bundle them together and present them that way versus older ones. Different themes, these kinds of things. This is what artists have been asking for, is being able to organize and present their work on Imprimo the way that they want. And this is what's getting delivered here with the collections. So collections think of it as just a broad term, and you might use this for the different series that you put on here, different themes. Any way you want to organize your work, you can do that and present it here. So I have 4 different artworks that, test artworks that I've put up here in my collection. You can have many more, as many as you want in your collection to have here. You can even have like multiple pages worth in your collection if that's what you wanted to do. You can add keywords to your collection so that it's found through the search. You can, when you click on this, you'll see more by the artist. And also you can share the collection, much like you could share your artwork. We have this share button on the artwork in the profile as well. So that's the same functionality, but you can share your collection. Yeah. So that's that. Maybe what I'll do is show how these collections can get made and the different ways that you can organize things. So maybe first of all, I'll go to what we call the logged in homepage. So when you log in and you hit the home icon, this is where you come. What we've added here is, before we had the upload artwork, build your profile, create your CV. These were like the 3 main actions that you would do when you log into Imprimo. Now we have this new one, add a collection, where you can, just add new collections and edit them and this kind of stuff. Also in the logged in sub navigation here, we have a new link to my collections. So before it was my artworks, profile, CV, account. Now we have my collections. So artworks remains the same for now. As if you have an account on Imprimo, you would see this. You come in and this is where you upload your works. And then now we have this new section for collections. So I'll click into here. Like you can add a collection by clicking this button, add a collection in the top right. And this is where you would add the title, the description, and the different privacy or permissions to it. And I'll get into that in these examples in a second. So in this first one, this is a collection I've created that is public. So once you've created the collection, you can add the different artworks to your collection, and then you can organize and move things around as you want. As you move things around, this is how they'll be positioned on that card that I showed. So if this is the one you wanted to show in the main image, and these were your subsequent images, it could work like that. Or if I wanted to put this at the bottom and have this at the top, then that works like that. So actually, if I just go into the collections, you can see that it's changed now, and this is the main image, and this is the subsequent images. So that's what you can do as far as organizing your work and having the order the way that you want in the collection and how it's presented. And when you have a collection public, meaning it's published on the Imprimo website publicly, you can add any artworks that are already published on Imprimo. If you have some artworks that aren't published on Imprimo, you wouldn't be able to add them to the collection because it's a public collection. So public collections need publicly published artworks to go in them. So that's that. In the description, like I mentioned, this is where you would enter in the title, the description, and the different privacy. So you can have it only to me, meaning that no one can see this collection. It's just completely private in your Imprimo profile. It is public, meaning it's published on Imprimo like you just saw, and anybody can see it. And then there's this other one using a link. So what this is the only way someone can access this collection is by following a specific hyperlink for that collection to be able to see it. So the use case is that one of the use cases that came to us was, I'm an artist, I'm applying at a gallery or for a show, and I want to put together a specific collection for this application, and I only want them to see it. And when you create these when you create this collection by link only, you can include unpublished and published works. So maybe you want to create a collection for a gallery application or a grant application, and you want to include works that aren't published, you can do that as well. You have keywords. that aid in the search and retrieval of your collections. So you can add custom keywords as you want, or the keywords as defined here. You can do all that, much the same as you would with your profile and artwork, if you're familiar with that. So yeah, so this is an example of like when it's a private collection, you can really, when you're adding artworks, grab any artwork that you have uploaded, whether it's published or not. You can grab anything and, you know, add it there, and then move it around in the order you want. If you don't want to, if you want to remove it, you can definitely do that with the trash can icon here. You can also, when you create a collection, you can easily just delete it and confirm delete, and then it's gone. And then you can create other ones if you want to with these different permissions. It's really easy. It's just this one card of like title, description. Why don't I just do it right now? You just write in your title, description, the privacy that you want, you add the collection, and then you start adding artworks to it, like whatever you want. And then if you add like published artworks, let's grab another couple of published artworks that I have. I could change the, in the description, I can change it to public, save, and now it should be visible on the public website. It's as easy as that, really. And then I can go through, add more keywords, change it back to only me if I wanted to. If you create a collection that has all the public artworks and you want to change it to only me, you can do so. But if it's a mix of, if it's only me and it's a mix of published and unpublished, you won't be able to create it as public because, like I said before, the artworks need to be published publicly in order to create a public collection. So let me just delete this one. And then another example I have here is a link only. So I've added these artworks. If I go to the description here and copy this link and maybe come over here and follow the link, I have my artworks shown here in this collection. But as you can see, it wasn't published publicly in the collections on Imprimo. The only way to get at this is through this specific link. So think of it kind of like Google Doc, where when you share it with somebody, you have this link that you give them, and then they follow the link and they're able to access the Google Doc. It's much like that. So it's sort of the semi-private kind of thing, and artists ask for this functionality, and so that's all part of it. So that is pretty much it for the collections, I guess. The other thing that I will talk about is we have this new field that's been added, as JD mentioned in his presentation before, of the profile URL that you can define however you want. So if you're on the premium plan, if you're on basic or free, this part will be grayed out, but if you're on the premium plan, you're able to define the URL as you want. So I've done steven.imprimo.ca. So it's whatever you want, .imprimo.ca. And then I have it here, steven.imprimo.ca. And you can see that this is my Imprimo profile. So this is a much nicer, cleaner way of being able to share your Imprimo profile with others if you have this nice URL as opposed to whatever it was before. So that's that. The other thing I should mention is when you are on the profile, before we had the profile CV and artworks, now we have the collections. So when you publish collections on Imprimo, they'll show up here, and then you can come in, follow this, and see the collection information. I just go back. The other thing I wanted to show was if you are on the premium plan, we also have this identifier here that shows that you are on premium. So that's there as well. So that's how the unique URL is working. And the last premium feature that we've developed with this release and there'll definitely be more coming after this. This is sort of where we started, is the custom CVs. So we've heard from artists that, we have this CV functionality on Imprimo and it works really well, but sometimes they need to have specific CVs for specific applications, and they need to remove some things that they have on their master CV in order to create more sort of slimmed down CV. Also, there's been asked for, I'd like to be able to download and edit my CV out of Imprimo. So we are allowing for that as well. So first of all, I've created a custom CV already. It's really easy to do, but we have our default CV here. When I go into this, I just have a few things listed here. But also what you can do is, if you wanted to create this master list of really everything you've done in your career, you can do so. And maybe on your public profile in Imprimo, you don't want to show everything. So you can do that here. Like, you can remove some things from your public profile now. So let's just say I wanted to remove this test exhibition. I can go hide on my CV. And then if I go to my public profile, here I am. And then if I go to my CV, it's removed here. Whereas if I go back and go back to my default CV, and then I add it, and I go back to my profile, bear with me, and now it's back. And of course, as before, you can organize and sort this, order things however you want. You can do that. So you could have the professional experience on top and education on the bottom. You can still do all that you could before. In the reordering categories here. So you can still do all this. So that's the default CV, but also on the custom CV. So I guess maybe I'll sort of create one is I can create a CV like this, and then when it gets made, it shows all the events that are in your master list, and then you can hide whatever you want. You can reorder the categories however you want, and then you can download the CV in different formats. Also, if you don't like seeing what you see, you can also delete the CV. So I'll just show that because I have this other one here. And then also, when you come into here, you can download the CV, and you can download it as a PDF, as you could before, but also as a Word doc. So if I just click Word doc, it downloads here into my downloads. I open it up. So now it's in a Word doc, and I can come in and edit, whatever I want. I can come in here and sort of change things, add things, and then save it as a PDF from here, if that's what you want to do for the use case that you have. For example, being submitting to a show or a gallery, grant application, what have you, right? So that's what you can do there, is you can download it as the doc, but you can also still do the PDF as well, and open that up. And I guess I just wanted to show, like, I only have the 2 events here because I didn't want to show on the CV this specific event. If I added it back and downloaded it again, I'll just do that. It'll show all 3 events. So that's how that's working, and that's the custom CVs. The other thing is, I only have 1 here, but you can, if you're on the premium plan, you can make as many as you want and download them from there. So that's how that's all working. So those are sort of the 3 main things that we've released in our premium plan, is the collections, the custom URL, and also the custom CVs. Also, there's a bit of a change on your account section. When you scroll down, you will see the subscription that you're under right now, and then you can change plans depending what you want to do. So now we have a basic monthly, which most people are on right now. but also you can upgrade to the premium plan, which I've done in my test account. And then also because people have asked for that, we now have yearly plans. So people can be on the basic plan that doesn't have the three functions that I just showed right now, and the premium plan that has everything. And then also we have discount pricing for people that are members of our partnering associations. And right now that's CARFAC, RAV, Copyright Visual Arts, and CAFIC, with more to come. So if I, select CARFAC, and you can select as some people are maybe part of more than one organization. So if I was part of Copyright Visual Arts and CARFAC, we have discounted pricing for those members as well. Also, for people that have already subscribed, even if they're not part of these organizations, for those that have already registered and subscribed on Imprimo, there is some early adopter pricing that gives you the discount as well. So that's what's
and just for those, like, just to be clear, in order to, so for example, if you're not a member of one of those organizations, but you've been part of the platform since the beginning, and we're really thankful for being an early adopter, that's why we grandfathered the pricing. In order for the pricing to be effective, you need to add your method of payment. If you're still on your trial and you have 4 months left of your trial, that's fine. You're not going to be paying for the next 4 months. It is just to kind of secure your spot with this. And even after 4 months of trial, if you say, oh, I decide I'm not going to pursue it in Imprimo, you can still cancel at any time and not be charged. So if you want to lock in your pricing, you can simply add your method of payment to the platform. That will secure your pricing. And at any point you can cancel. And once again, if you're still on trial, your trial will continue even after you enter your method of payment. You will not lose any free months.
Yeah, totally. And just one last thing that I wanted to mention, a change that might be relevant to some people on the call, is that even if you're in what we call like free plan, like you haven't subscribed, we've added some additional functionality so that people can test the site. We do have some people that found that the 30-day trial period could be a bit short for them. Maybe they're pulled away during that time and they need more time to evaluate the site. So if people are in, they haven't yet subscribed, you are now able to upload artworks on here. You're just not able to publish them. So you could add artworks, you can add in all the metadata and, organize your work that way. You're just not able to publish them onto Imprimo. The same thing with creating collections, you just can't publish them. And the same thing even with CVs. You can create a CV that you can see, but you wouldn't be able to download them as a PDF or a Word doc. So that's just some, and you can create the profile as well, but you're not able to publish it. So that's some of the added functionality that we've added for people that are in free plan, that they can come in and see how things work, be able to evaluate the site and really get a sense of how it works if they need something longer than the 30-day trial. So just the last thing to mention about that.